Isle of Wight Volunteer Stories is a podcast brought to you by the Isle of Wight Volunteer Centre, celebrating the wonderful contribution that volunteers make to island life. We'll be hearing about the different roles and activities that people do, what they get out of it, and what motivates them to start in the first place. Volunteers share some of the highs and lows of their lives, talk about the skills that they learn and the connections that they make on their volunteer journey. We hope this podcast will give you an insight into a world you may not be familiar with, will demonstrate that volunteers come from all walks of life, and perhaps it will inspire you to start your own volunteer story. I'm Sandy Cicognani from Community Action Isle of Wight, and I'll be your host on this podcast. Today I'm at County Hall with Sandy Chamberlain, who is an advice sessions supervisor with responsibility for volunteer recruitment and training. Hello, Sandy.
Hello, Sandy. Yes, there's a lot of Sandys
There's a lot
here.
of us around at the moment. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I'll just hand over to you if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about volunteering with Citizens Advice.
Thank you, Sandy. Yes, the sort of people we're looking for is somebody that's really interested in helping people, because Citizens Advice, as you can imagine, we get a lot of people who are in desperate need of some really being listened to and supported. And so basically the two roles that we mostly have our volunteers for is for telephone assessors, which is a really important role. It's that first point of contact with people. So you are basically listening to them and really trying to sift through what the actual issue is and putting the details on the system. So for that role, there's not an awful lot of training. Some of the training's online, but it's a really important role. So if you've got that empathy, we're looking at those social skills, being able to talk to people comfortably on the telephone. Then there is another role which then you move on to, and a bit more training, is for an advisor, and so you need quite a bit of in-depth training for that. But often people come to us, they might train to be a telephone assessor and then move on to be an advisor later on. So it can all be done very slowly as they gain the experience and understand how we work and everything. But we've got other roles as well, like administrators, or if people want to be with more of an upfront role, or help out with fundraising, or help out at our volunteer fairs and anything like that. We try to fit the roles around people's skills and experience. But we're a friendly lot, and please, if you feel like you're interested in volunteering with Citizens Advice and helping out, then you can phone me and I can have a chat with you, or we can have coffee, and we will listen to you and what your needs are as well, because it's often intrinsic needs that a volunteer has. So intrinsic motivations, they're often coming to us to be a bit more social, and to still use their skills that they've had, or even to gain confidence as well.
And you're based at County Hall.
Yes.
Is that where all the work happens, or is it?
Some we have an outreach in Ryde Library as well. Mostly the volunteers are run from Newport at the moment, because that's where the supervisory staff are based. Some of our volunteers do work from home, like our advisors as well, so that's a possibility. So if people can't necessarily get in,
And you said that the time commitment that's needed varies according to roles. And
absolutely, the minimum time commitment we ask for is 6 hours a week, so that can be over 2 mornings or afternoons, or in a whole day. We do offer, for volunteers who are regularly coming in, we offer car parking passes as well, so that's free for when they're volunteering with us, and any expenses as well.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to say at all?
I'd just say, if you're interested in finding out more about Citizens Advice, what we do, then just get in touch.
That's lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I will put the links in the details. Thank you. If you would like to find out more about how to volunteer, or if you're an organisation looking for volunteers on the Isle of Wight, please go to our website www.iwvolunteer.org or email us on volunteer@actioniw.org.uk.